Thank you for coming down, Raja. We need to get this in the public domain. Now, the Oldham Chronicle, last week I spoke to Kevin from the Oldham Chron. He said he'd take the story on. I told him to come up here and see this situation himself, and as far as I know, he hasn't got back, and I don't know whether he's going to do the story or not. This is a prime example of our local democracy newspapers being far from democratic. They seem to play up, or they're frightened to death of getting involved in anything that's regarding Oldham Council. But this issue regarding this burial section here of the Catholics in Crompton Cemetery needs to be addressed. We'll go down here, Raja. People should not have to come to the family members' graves in Wellingtons or Waders. And if we look,
I should have come with my Wellingtons, I'm afraid, Peter.
well, people, what about the people that's come to the graves here? So if we just scan round here, Raja, from here, which are the public graves, and then we scan this section of the middle part of the Catholic section and look at all the water lodged. This was addressed to Councillor Hazel Gloucester, Lib Dem, last April the 14th to be exact. Nothing's been done. We had a dry spell after April. We had a decent summer during the lockdown. But I told them, I said it's going to be January, February before it does again. Now, if you turn the camera, Raja, to that manhole flooded, it collapsed, it caused flooding for the back half of the Catholic section. So all that half was underwater. They put wood chips down for people to walk on the graves. It did nothing. They had a jetter 5 years ago that spent 10 days jetting and doing that manhole. They put tons and tons and tons of earth, the council, trying to fill it in. Well, where were it going? Where actually did it go? Then they jetted the drains here, and it did clear up this section. Now we're 5 or 6 years down the line, and the gentleman who were doing the jetting said this problem is going to happen again. It has. It's escalated now to the middle of this plot. And like you say, you can see fresh flowers. People are coming down here. They can't get to the graves unless they're in a rowing boat or they've wellies or waders on. But there's a fault on the drainage system. Now, I met with Councillor Hazel Gloucester and my cousin, who unfortunately buried his wife after 50 years, just over the far side, who was heartbroken and says to me, will she be underwater? And I said, unfortunately, Johnny, yes, because of what the council have let happen here. Now, the drainage man who came down, who's got the job on to try and stop this, said that there were 8 gullies blocked up there. Now, we'll film up there, if you don't mind, Raja. Up there isn't the problem what's causing all this. There's something amiss wrong down here. And the council would rather spend money on your hundreds and odd £1,000 a year salaries to absolute idiots. Idiots who are above the law and with the removing rain. And if anybody comes up to the cemetery, they will see, after the rain, the graves underwater and the serious problem. It needs to be addressed. Now, it's no use a few crusaders trying to hold this council to account. We can't do it. And if every single person does their bit, we can get this situation sorted, not just for the cemeteries and the graves. This is an important issue. But it's for all the other issues that's going on within Oldham Council. But this one cuts deep. My mother and father are buried just there. I'm going there. My great-grandmother and grandmother are buried there. My mother's sister and a brother are there. Another brother there. Another sister there. We're all going here. And we all want to be able to keep dry. But when you've got water lodging on the top, and it's took 6 years and complaints again to address it, shame on the council. Shame on them. But I phoned Hazel Gloucester up on Friday last week, and Councillor Hazel Gloucester said to that gentleman, I wouldn't bury my dog in this ground. I wouldn't bury my dog, and my dog's sick. That were Hazel Gloucester. I wouldn't bury my dog in this ground.